Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
All right, everybody. We've got in our virtual green room our first guest of the evening. Her name is Madison Walker. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Madison, how are you doing? And where are we calling you from, or where are you calling us from tonight?
I am sidelined in Salt Lake City. I was supposed to be in Lake Tahoe for my birthday the day after tomorrow, but the RV that I travel in with my best friend Abby had some issues, so it is in the shop until Friday.
Oh no, that's such a bummer.
That's what's okay. That? Salt Lake City's not so bad.
No, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
What's that called when you use sidelined in Salt Lake City? Like that's like a SSSSS deal. That's pretty cool. I don't know.
There's a word for that. It's
it's like alliteration. No, what is it? It's someone's going to tell me in the chat. It may be. Someone's going to tell me in the chat.
I have no idea.
So you are on the tour grind this year, or am I incorrect? You tell us what this year looks like for you. We know last year with COVID being like full force, you'd taken a break, but what's this year look like for you?
So it was nice. I realized last year after taking that break how nice it was not to play and not to grind a million weeks out of the year. I'm used to playing anywhere from 25 to 35 events during the year for the last 6 years. And so I just taking that time off, like being forced to take that time off, I realized how much I enjoyed it. So this year, I still like have that drive to compete and I still like get FOMO when I'm not on the tour. So I still wanted to play, but I just kind of made my goals not smaller necessarily, but just I realized I don't have to do everything. I can do other stuff that I want to do while also playing disc golf. I don't have to grind, that many weeks. So I decided to just play all the Pro Tour events and all the majors and just hopefully have a polished finish at the Pro Tour and make it to the Pro Tour finale. And then national tours, I'll play it for fun.
For fun, you'll play it for fun, and whatever you're hearing.
Let me close the window.
Whatever you're hearing, we don't hear, but that's okay. So what just happened is Madison is going to shut the window where she's staying. She's hearing people out and about. So
I'm sorry, it's Calvin. It's Calvin and Abby being loud.
We never knew Calvin would be so loud. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So you've cashed at every Pro Tour you've played so far. How does that feel?
Good. Also, I was shocked, absolutely shocked. I knew the biggest barrier I would have to deal with this year is consistency, because I took last year off, and when you don't have the reps, like you have no idea what's going to happen when the disc comes out of your hand. So, and then I have to do this weird taping thing. I'm sure I've talked about it a million times, but this weird taping thing to protect my finger. So on top of the inconsistency from not having reps from taking the year off with the finger, I just had no real expectations. I just knew to trust that, I'm semi-coordinated. I've been playing for a long time and I'm enjoying myself out there, and just hopefully that would be enough.
So now that you are out on the road, though, is this kind of like a goal to cash at every single event? Obviously, you said you wanted to make the Pro Tour finale, but do you have any different goals besides that? Like, top 5 finishes, a couple wins here and there?
I mean, it would be great. It would be great. I'm always kind of pushing to do well at events. But I honestly don't have as much of a drive to compete as I think a lot of people do. I like it. I like bettering myself, but I don't have that like strong desire to win. I like competing. I like making myself better. I like seeing if I can get better every week by putting in time. But I just have a lot of other stuff I'm interested in. So this year it's not as high on the list. I'm focused on other things, other jobs that I've gotten, and just trying to enjoy my time on the course while my body still lets me do it.
Well, speaking of new jobs that you're getting into, you ended up actually taking a position with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Can you start from the beginning of it? How did it come about, and then what is it?
So I was absolutely shocked. I ended my partnership with Innova last year, and I think it was a little bit overdue. It was hard though to leave a partnership that lasted that many years. 6 years with the same company. Like I had a lot invested in it, but and I was kind of bumming and trying to figure out my next move. Just what was the right fit. Nothing was really like screaming at me. And Jeff Spring called me and was like, "We're trying to make the Pro Tour bigger and better than ever. I have this program that I've kind of been sitting on that I wish I had time to do myself, but I don't. And I felt like I would talk to you about it and see if you were interested in it." And I had just ended my partnership with Innova. So I didn't have the pressure to be touring full time like you're supposed to be doing on the star team. And so he told me about that he was hoping to make the Pro Tour more of an environmentally friendly or an eco-conscious organization, and he wanted to really attack it and not just sit on the back burner. And he asked if I was interested. I was like blown away. I had no idea this was coming and jumped on it. No questions.
Nice. So what is something that you do to make the tournaments and everything like that to make the Pro Tour more eco-conscious?
Well, I started out with a lot of ideas about events partnering with local communities and that kind of thing and making it a little bit more abstract. But Jeff kind of dialed me in as the program went on, especially with COVID. It's really hard to do stuff like that this year. And because the program got a little bit of a late start, like starting in January is late when we're talking about tour. Tournament directors already have everything, in line, hopefully at that point. So
Yeah.
so we dialed it back, and it's kind of a slow rollout where I'm more like building the program and creating the program this year, working with tournament directors to have everything about the events have less impact. And then hopefully next year it'll be a little bit more mandatory. There'll be like some, cool stuff you get if you do the things that we would like you to do, and just using less materials, focusing on the different environments that are around the disc golf courses, making sure water stations are there instead of water bottles, the things you would normally think of.
Yeah.
Well, the things that Madison would normally think of, and everybody else.
That's true.
Maybe
I
that.
forget that not everybody is doing this all the time.
That's okay. We are each gifted in different ways, and we need a little bit of everybody. I appreciate your stance on that. Maybe biodegradable discs are in the future for when we lose them in ponds and in the woods. Like they just break down over time.
I mean, I don't know if y'all have heard of Trash Panda. They're doing some cool stuff with biodegradable minis right now, and they're moving on up, I think, to the next thing. I think it's possible.
That's very cool.
Could be. Yeah, no doubt.
So can I get into a little bit? You just kind of alluded to the fact that your partnership with Innova ending. It took a little bit of time to get used to because you were with them for so long. First part of the question is, how long were you with Innova as a touring player?
I was with them for 6 years, and I kind of had a weird start to disc golf. I literally just jumped in full force. I met Paige at like a C tier, and she invited me on the road, and I went straight to the World Championships, like from C tier to Worlds. No A tiers, no no national tours, no nothing.
Nice.
So once I played Worlds, I got I think 11th. It's probably my best Worlds finish was my first one, but with like 8 discs and only a sidearm. But
That's pretty wild.
yeah, I know. But Innova jumped on me at that point. So literally, as soon as I got into disc golf, all I know is Innova. Like from day one for 6 years. This year would have been 7. So.
Yeah, and so they're like, wow, this girl's crazy. Like, she's just jumping into worlds. She's obviously going to go places. So that's cool that they believed in you, and they did for so long. You recently, I saw an announcement for Upper Park Designs. They've relaunched their bags. We had the original founder and owner of Upper Parks, John Richardson, come on earlier or the end of this last year, and we talked to him about this relaunch. I'm glad to see they picked you up, and I think if my stalking is accurate, like you potentially agreed to them in a sole sponsorship kind of way this year. Is that something?
Well, no. So I've been with Upper Park the whole time too. I've never had a bag sponsor besides Upper Park, and they took a little bit of a breather for a couple years where they weren't actively sponsoring people, but I was still repping and I was still selling bags just because I really do think they are the best bag on the market. And they're not doing any sort of special sponsorship with me, different from anyone else. I got some offers from other companies, but they did not allow me to have a bag sponsorship. So I had already signed a contract with Upper Park, and I don't like to break contracts. So I decided not to pursue a disc sponsorship this year. But then another little thing fell into my lap, and they're actually going to be like my disc sponsor, and I'm like allowed to talk about it now.
Okay, so wait, let me cue up the special here. Hold on.
We got exclusive music.
Little transition. Hold on, we got to go back. There's the Nick and Matt show transition. This is exclusive. All right, what do you got?
So there's a company called Aria Discs. They make ultimate discs. Predominantly, they're like the number 2 producer of ultimate discs besides Discraft. And they are out of Richmond, Virginia. They decided it's like a umbrella brand with VII, the apparel company that I'm sure you guys have heard about. Jonas does their jerseys and the Pro Tour. But and I've been sponsored by VII for 3 years now. So they decided their umbrella brand owns Aria as well, and they decided that they wanted to start making disc golf discs. But they did not really know how to get into it because it's a bunch of ultimate players. But as we all know, the pandemic this year, a lot of ultimate players started crossing over and playing disc golf and trying to figure out the sport. And so since I've worked with them forever, I was on the phone with them about how my partnership with Innova was ending, and they kind of jumped at it and they were like, "Hey, can we sponsor you? We don't have discs. We don't know what's going to happen, but we would love to throw money at you and come on the team and help us get started." And I mean, it's kind of risky. It feels crazy because it's definitely not like any disc golf sponsorship you hear of, but they're really good people. They have really awesome intentions, and they just care about the same stuff that I do. And it's nice because they also trust me, and they really they're really big into like getting women into positions of power and letting them make decisions. And we don't see a lot of that in disc golf. So it's cool. They like brought me on and they just started firing questions at me. We had like an idea session out the gate and I didn't realize it was a test, but it was a test. And I passed, and now I'm on the team. Nice. And we have big stuff coming. We got some discs starting to be ready to go, and they're going to start rolling everything out here in the next week.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a cool leap of faith. I mean, going from a company who obviously you just said was more on the ultimate side of it to now creating the actual disc golf discs. So is it going to be a sponsorship to where obviously they haven't created any legitimate discs yet as they slowly piece them out? Like, what other discs are you throwing right now? Do you still have Innova? Have you tried any other brands now that you can?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried everything since I moved away from Innova. I really wanted to just switch my bag up entirely. I wanted to get rid of all of that and move on. But it's hard to do that when you're buying all your own discs, A, and B, I throw a lot of lightweight stuff, and it is hard right now during this pandemic with all the, shortage in discs to find lightweight discs for me to buy and also have like a few extra of. So that I can practice. So it's at this point, I'm just using a lot of my Innova stuff, but I started putting with Wardens. I'm obsessed with them. And then Aria, the company that I'm going to be sponsored by, or am sponsored by, they have a partnership with Prodigy to get off their feet. And I'm really excited because I haven't got to throw Prodigy stuff in a long time. And I really enjoy all the Prodigy discs I've ever thrown. So it's a partnership at first, and we'll see kind of what it turns into.
Or it goes into after that.
All right. Just to be clear for our audio listeners driving around in their car going, wow, this sounds interesting. That's spelled A-R-I-A. Is that what your shirt says? A-R-I-A?
Yes.
Yeah.
A-R-I-A. Look them up. And it's cool. What you'll see from them is a lot of partnership with intention, not necessarily just, they just have a lot of good ideas that they would like to implement. They're really into community-driven stuff. They're really into women's initiatives. They're really into just growing the sport, but not necessarily they're not, it's different because they're catering towards beginners, I guess would be the best way to put it, or towards new players, like ultimate players transitioning, and they don't know what the flight numbers mean, and they don't know what all these discs are. It's like the model is to show them how to get started.
Yeah, there's definitely no wrong in that. I mean, we've seen the expansion, I should say the explosion of disc golf this last year. So for an avenue of players to be able to go into and find these lightweight discs or find a company that is really catering more towards them instead of on the pro scene, I think that's an incredible thing in and of itself.
That's why I was excited. I mean, it's kind of a chance, and it's really different from any disc golf model y'all will see when all the information starts coming out. But I'm excited about it, and I really like the ideas that they have. It's a fresh perspective from the normal disc golf world, the little bubble that I'm used to being in.
Yeah, and it sounds like a great sponsorship and fit for you. I'm really excited to see how this works out.
Me too.
Now, are you taking so now that you've accepted the position with the Pro Tour, are you taking the year to tour, and then future years, are you going to consistently compete out on the road at these Pro Tour events and everything? Or are you slowly going to back off from that as you get more involved with the actual job itself with the Pro Tour?
I think it's going to be something I have to assess as I go, because this year definitely I feel it's been a slow start, but I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed as far as we're entering a 5-week stretch of tournaments, 2 majors in the next 7 weeks, and then a million other events. And then this is like the hot point of like Aria releasing all their stuff, and then the Pro Tour too, that job doesn't stop. So It's a lot. It'll be something I think I have to assess at the end of the year and just see how I'm feeling and how much I'm willing to take on. But I really like how Valerie did it. Val Jenkins did it when she started to slow down, how she would just randomly show up at an event and then just like kill it.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't like all the time. That's my dream.
Right.
That is a good dream. That's a good dream, Valerie Jenkins.
We like Val.
So
Yeah.
as we get close to wrapping out here, the last time I saw you was maybe Las Vegas. You were doing commentary for Terry Miller. I was working with him at that time. Are we going to see you around anywhere up in New England this year as the tour comes through? Will I get to see you and say hi?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's cool this year too. Me and Erica Stinchcomb are doing a lot of the FPO commentary, post-produced commentary with GK Pro. So we're the two hot geese.
Yeah.
So
Hong Kong.
we'll be Hong Kong. We'll be out there all year long. And I might even be picking up media roles here and there as the Pro Tour needs gaps filled. I can fill in if they would like, but I'm definitely going to be in the Northeast, and I am super excited to get back up there. I miss it.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I just want to throw out there for everyone who's kind of like, what is going on? Two hot geese, Hong Kong, like this inside thing. That did start in Las Vegas during commentary. We just randomly, Terry and I were like looking at geese as we're out there filming the FPO round. We saw them sitting on an actual putting green at the golf course, and we just filmed them for B-roll. We both thought it would be funny to put in there, like when the credits or whatever in the beginning are going, and then you guys just ran away with it. It's perfect.
Yeah, they put our names right at the bottom with two geese that were near each other, and it was like you can't ignore that.
It was great.
And ever since then, it's been like a lot of goose puns, a lot of dad jokes that are goose themed, and people like have responded amazingly. Like to all the goose fans out there, I don't know why you like it, but I'm so happy you do.
I am not taking.
I didn't even know any of that.
Okay, that's funny, Nick. I'm not taking credit for that, but I was working on that project with Terry, and I think it's just excellent. So I'm glad we were able to help with your branding there.
Yeah, you guys set us up for success. You put the light right there, right in front of us.
Oh, good times. I've got a lot of memories of that trip, good and bad. But
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Still to this day.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
That's what we'll say. All right. So did we miss anything that you would like to talk about, or are we good?
No, I think that's everything. I mean, I'm just excited I'm nervous and excited to play disc golf for 5 weeks straight. I haven't done that in a long time, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you guys have the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships, so just USWDGC, and then we have Worlds in Utah coming up just at the end of June. So yeah, you guys have a jam-packed schedule. I know the West Coast swing is going on. I think, what is it? Goat Hill, U.S.
OTB.
Women's, OTB.
Goat Hill, OTB, U.S. Women's, Masters Cup, then in Portland Open, and then it was supposed to be Beaver State Fling, but now it's that new little B tier.
The Resistance.
Yep. And then a week off, and then Worlds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hopefully that RV is going to be full on fixed on Friday for you. We wish you the best of luck. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we get off?
Area.
Yeah, big shout out to all the people at VII and ARIA for really taking a chance on me. I'm really excited. And then big thanks to Disc Golf Strong. I feel like I can never shout him out enough, and he's the best on the planet. So
Seth Muncie from Disc Golf Strong. Well, Madison, we appreciate you getting on. I know it's been a couple weeks of us trying to plan it out to have you on for the interview, but we'll have to have you on again sometime soon.
And thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here with Paul Macbeth and Haley King.
This is a jam-packed schedule. We love it.
This is in total love to Haley King, who's up next. But your energy and your smiles and your laughing, like we're going, and Haley's good personality too, but just different. So it's going to be fun for us. Here we go.
Well, I'm like her biggest fan, so please give me all of her love. I'll be watching.
Okay, we'll tell her. All right, we'll talk to you later. Safe travels. We'll see you around.
Appreciate it.